it was a particularly special and interesting audience to be around, given what it is that we're doing at our company. I know that everyone here is to understand Web3 and its application into the marketplace. I'm sure there are more people who know and understand marketplace than there are people who know and understand Web3. But I think our use case is one that every single person here can relate to, because every single person here wears clothing, and our solution is clothing based. So I'm the founder and CEO of Stylexxa, and we're solving the sizing issue in online fashion retail. The problem is that when you're shopping online, size varies across brands and across geographies. You might be a medium in South Africa, but be a large somewhere else. And even it varies across within brands. And so how we're solving that problem is we're combining shopper biometric data with garment data. So what that means is we're taking your body measurements by using 3D scanning technology. So we are now integrating with retailers, and they are able to replace it, maybe not replace, but actually replace the size chart with a widget that can just activate your camera on your cell phone, and then it collects your measurements, your silhouette in seconds, and then that's stored to then cross-reference with some of the garment data that we have in the back end. Now, where does marketplace come in? If most companies start adopting this mechanism, what we start having is more real-time anthropometric data, because people travel around a lot now, especially after COVID. It would be great to even solve the fact that there's the average Dutch woman, the average Dutch or average Portuguese woman, etc., in terms of average size. But even that's changing now because people travel, diets have changed, etc. So one thing that it does, it creates a whole new data set of anthropometric data, but that is your body measurement that belongs to you. It literally represents just you. And so suddenly as a shopper, you have a commodity that is valuable to the whole world for various reasons, but at least for this one, it's for clothing and the production of clothing. And so we have that one set of data, and now we get into the marketplace part. Then on the other end, we're starting to have more data, more granular data on the construction of clothing. So it's not just small, medium, and large now, because that's random and that varies, but now it's more granular. And so with that, we help manufacturers to make clothing for people that will actually fit the right people in the right market. Because manufacturers sell clothing to not only brands, but to markets. So imagine a world in which if a manufacturer was mainly delivering clothing, say, to South America, our data starts telling them that, oh no, people are 3 centimeters shorter in South America than in this area. And then suddenly, it's now easier to, or it's not that easy for manufacturers to change their production lines. And so it's just easier for them to find the right markets to sell the right size clothing. Now you might be like, okay, where does the marketplace piece come in again? Well, now you're able, each player in this ecosystem, so that's manufacturers, retailers, shoppers, everyone has value to add with the data that they possess and that they already have. We're just the facilitator of then exchanging that between the key players. But then it gets juicier, because if we become more Web3 based, a huge trend in fashion right now is that people really care where their clothing comes from and who made that clothing. And so our go-to market strategy, and this is very futuristic, guys, like our V1 is so far from this, but I thought it would be valuable to talk about it. In future, what we'd like to be able to do is, because people care about where their clothing comes from, and because people care about the people who made their clothing, because how on earth am I buying this t-shirt for €2 or 5? What did the person get paid for this to do this? Because this is a trend that's happening, we could see a world in which a way to incentivize shoppers to start body scanning themselves as opposed to buying 3 of the same garment, trying it on at home and then returning it for free. What we could do is incentivize with the Stylexxa token. So what that means is we say, if you measure yourself, you earn a token that is then easily transferable to anyone else who's within our ecosystem, which means that you can directly influence someone else's life and send it straight to their wallet. You can essentially donate a Stylexxa wallet token to their wallet. And then of course, that gets a bit tricky, but I think from a macro and like really dream world, we could then start aligning with institutions like schools and governments, etc., so that it's not so transactional. You can actually donate or contribute to someone's education or whatever, medical or whatever, and we don't need to depend on a super archaic structure and depend on manufacturers to solve this for us. So the reason why this is a really urgent and important solution, and why I'm really looking forward to it in some time, at some point, it becoming a marketplace, but for now it's literally just the 2 products that we're testing out. It's early stage. The reason why this is important is because free returns is a diabolical problem, especially for the environment. 40% of the returns, at least in the EU market, end up in the landfills because returns come with like a tear or something, and it's not worthwhile for the retailers to interrogate a customer and not pay them back. So then they just chuck it, and then that's super bad. And then obviously it's just money guzzling out of those businesses. So it becomes an ecosystem that's, the more players there are, the better, and each player gets to control their own data, ideally. But at this, again, this is visionary, hey? And we've got a V1 now that's a little bit different to this, but the objective is still met. So I thought this was a nice, relatable, accessible example of how the Web 2 world that we're in right now is using the mechanisms of Web 3 to bridge the gap between different players and ecosystems and within industries. I think that's it.
Thank you very much.